never seen a smile so big on my little old lady's face until I tell her I'm going fishing all weekend. Pack up all of my baby, I make plans for 7:45, then I swing around, pick up my date for the weekend. Some reason she seems to please when I'm leaving. There's something I'm missing when I'm gone fishing. When I'm gone fishing. When I'm gone fishing.
Yeah, baby.
Yes, sir. How are we doing, folks? Wasn't expecting a huge draw tonight because it is Happy New Year, and Happy New Year to all. Hope you all had a great Christmas holiday, and you finished it off with a great New Year. Probably a few of you are groggy. Maybe you haven't shaven like I. But it's been good. It's been a great week. It's been a busy week. Lots going on. Lots happening in 2024. And I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of you CFNers attending some of the stuff that is going to be coming up. Don't have a lot of announcements. Jim and I are going to basically talk about 2023. We would love to have Steve, Jody, Brad, Bob, Tony, yourselves, chime in. Tell us what your best memory or your best takeaway for 2023 was. There was a lot happened, obviously, and any calendar year, a lot's going to happen. And we were certainly privy to a lot of that this past year, good and bad. But nonetheless, it is another year in the books. 2024 is a year I'm looking forward to, really looking forward to. One of which Brad and I have managed. We've done a lot of work, and I want to tip the hat to Brad from POW Castings, who has become an integral part of CFN. I've always wanted to do this, and to those who I've managed to reach out to already, you already know. I still have a bunch of you still left to reach out to that I want to be a part of it, but we have finally managed to pull the trigger on a CFN Day of Appreciation. It's going to be a small little venue. Well, I wouldn't say it's that small. It's Woodstock. It's a rec center. It's a good size, but it's basically a means of us giving back to you generous vendors, you folks. Like, Jim and I were just talking about the Christina fundraiser that we just completed, and I was amazed at the generosity. Would have loved to have raised a little bit more money, but needless to say, times are tough, and it's difficult for everyone. So I totally understand. But at the end of the day, there was a lot of generous stuff that was given up, and that'll all be going out this week. Hopefully, we're going to be doing confirmations. Those who did win, we'll be confirming with you this week. You'll just have to wait on Facebook to see your name and your post, but we'll be announcing all that, and we'll be announcing the details of the Day of Appreciation very soon in upcoming lives and some various posts. But I'm pretty excited to see the number of folks that have already jumped on board. As I said, I can't think of a better way to do it. Give an affordable means for folks to promote themselves, sell some stuff, or just hang out. At the end of the day, that's what we want to do. So anyway, without further ado, I want to bring in Jim. That's pretty much all of the JR. You're definitely one that I have to reach out to about that. Richard's in the house. How are you doing? Happy New Year to all you. James, as you know, I've reached out to you already. This is what we want to do. This is what I want to do. And I'm hoping that we'll see a lot of you folks there, because it's very deserved. I mean, what you guys do for this community of ours and the fishing industry as a whole, I can't thank you enough. On that note, as I said, I have nothing more. I would like to bring in the one and only Big Jim McLaughlin right after a word from our sponsor.
Yo, yo.
Big Jim McLaughlin.
Fresh
Wow.
off 7 days at the gym.
Attaboy. Good for you, man. Good
Still
for you.
can't walk right, but I'm having fun going to the gym.
Attaboy. I have to say, when it comes to watching that video, I know some folks were probably wondering, do we pull the boat out at this juncture? No, we got a dusting of reality last night, but
I know a few guys that have.
there's
There's guys fishing on the St. Lawrence River every day.
is that right? Hey,
Boats, like you see them, they're fishing boats, Every time I listen to that thing, I get out my new cranking rod that I got to make up with the monocoque handle and everything that Keith uses, and it's a funny thing. It's almost a $400 rod, and it's beautiful. It's my favorite one ever. So for the last couple of years, as you've witnessed it many times,
oh yes,
not $1,000 worth of rod and reel. You know what I mean? What, $300 worth? 270.
well, it's debatable. I don't know that the retail price is worth $1,000, but the amount of technology that goes into that,
Yeah,
it's debatable.
So that's what people always say to me. They're surprised sometimes when they see me out fishing, and it's buried in the back there. It'll probably take me 45 minutes to get it out. It's about 60 rods have made their way from the garage to the corner, so it's pretty wild. But they see me out fishing with, like with another rod, and I still get notes from people show me them fishing with a $79 rod, just like I used to fish with.
Yeah.
When I could have been using an NRX, or you know what I mean, or whatever. And there's stuff that transfers down there that's absolutely amazing. Happy New Year to you all too. I see here everybody putting up their Happy New Year wishes. It was kind of cool because I woke up this morning, like, I don't know, it was like 5:30.
Yeah.
I opened one eye. I lay there for a second and I thought, oh, that's right. I don't have a searing headache because I don't drink anymore.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a few people that rang in the new year the old-fashioned way. And
oh yeah. Well, I haven't drank. I've told you before many times since the cancer, because Dr. Kendall, who does all the research between Toronto and Ottawa here, he's convinced that alcohol is one of the major, things in cancer. So when he asked me to stop while he did the chemotherapy, actually it was a really good reason too, because he looked at me and plainly stated to me, right, like said it right to me. He says to me, like, we have no idea what alcohol will do. Like, this is why we're doing the study.
Yeah.
You might take a drink and get violently ill. We don't know. So he said, I'm going to ask you not to drink for the entire thing. So I did chemotherapy for 32 weeks.
Right.
So it was a long time without a drink, and I never had a problem with it. I like to drink, but it wasn't a problem. I mean, if I didn't drink for a month just because things were, I didn't miss it. I was never one of those guys comes home, opens the fridge, have a beer every night. Yeah. I wasn't like that. I wasn't like that at all. Now, mind you, when you were drinking beer, like, I don't know whether you saw the picture I put up on Facebook today with the guys in the, I woke up in a hotel room years and years ago. To the 13 or 16.
Close yours, kids. Close yours.
Yeah, $1,600 hotel bill.
Oof.
And that started at 8:00 on I think it was a Friday morning.
And was that because you were redecorating the place, or?
No, we didn't do anything like that. No,
okay.
No, this was room service, and
holy.
We went out. We took a limousine. We had them bring up trays of it was a snake show. my good old days.
But a good story nonetheless, I would imagine. Jim, we obviously took part in something that was both extremely important to you and to me, to see you finally get that induction into the Hall of Fame. But outside of that, we'll get to that. But what were some of your other takeaways from this year that was either surprising, positive, maybe negative? What was one of your, outside of the obvious, what was one of your greatest takeaways?
Yeah, I don't know, Scotty, I sort of wake up, I start every day off happy. And I'm really on this kick about keeping myself in a good frame of mind, because with the pain I experience all day, every day, and not being able to walk right. Like, I hobbled into the gym this morning. I had the cane beside me on the seat. and I didn't take it. I should have. So I got into the gym and I do everything, as much as I can. Sit down on the foam cubes, and whatever machines or things I have to use. And then yesterday I was there. I was the only person there, and it was the same thing. And for some reason yesterday I eyed a deadlift bar, and
Okay.
I thought to myself, no, if you're going to do it, you can't do it alone.
Yeah.
Because if something happens and you fall over or something, then you could be laying there for a while before somebody gets you. Yeah.
Good. So the reasoning took over. Good.
But yeah, no, but I wake up and that's really the only negative thing that I have in my life that I can say. Of course, with Tammy and her health, it's every day is a fun day. It's she just struggles so hard with it sometimes. Like
Mhm.
we're supposed to go for dinner tonight at the daughter's and everything. It's only an hour away or whatever. And
Mhm.
Tammy told me at noon, she's just like, maybe we should call Lindsay. And so I called Lindsay. She said, "Yeah, Mom called me about an hour ago."
And that's out of character for her, right? Like that's not.
Oh yeah, no, she's a trooper. She's just a ugh.
Yeah.
She's when she was younger. She told me stories. She'd take a punch too. She's fought a few times pretty good.
Oh my Lord.
She was, and you know how little she is.
Well, I mean, how do you say this and be politically correct? She's a big woman in stature. Like you can tell that she was a great athlete and a
Well, she
great
skated in the ice capades.
exactly. Like you can tell that. So I don't think of her as a tiny woman, but I certainly could see her handling her own. I
Oh,
give
when
her
I
that.
met her, she was 5'2", 118.
And bleeding anywhere. Okay.
I
All
told you,
right.
I told you many, many times. I looked at her when she walked in the door, and I
Yes.
said to my buddy John, I said to her, "Oh my God, look at that! I just fell in love. I'm going to marry her." And this
Yeah.
was like 3 hours after I broke up with a girl. Because her family just despised me trying to be a fisherman.
Yeah.
And he says, "Well, I don't know about her, but I could introduce you to her." I said, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah, she's with my girlfriend."
Wow.
A week later, I asked her to marry me. So
A week later. Wow.
this was on the
And
Thursday night. I asked her the following Saturday.
Jeez.
And she just got out of a nasty divorce and moved back to Ottawa. And stupid fool said yes.
That's awesome.
It was meant
What a
to be, buddy.
What a great story. So
Meant to be.
you get the call, and a big shout out to the folks at Shimano. There's lots of folks there. Bobble in particular, I know worked very, very hard. But you get that call from Bobble. You get that call from the folks at Shimano that this is your year. It's finally come true. You are going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. And I will say, what a delight this was. And I'll let you take it from there.
I think it's even cooler than being just in like the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame is that I got something from the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame that only actually two people and an organization have that they've given it to. So I was the third person to get that. I'm still the only Canadian to get anything there, and I think that's a pretty cool thing. It's funny. I don't know how it came up, but it came up in my memories maybe 2 weeks ago.
Mhm.
Looking through it one day, and it was one of the posts from when we were down there last year. It must have got shared after or something.
Okay.
And I found a whole because it says like 40 weeks ago, so that would be just about right. Hey, it's got another 3 months from now, and I was looking through them, and I couldn't believe the number of things that I didn't see that I missed, like where people commented like 3 months later or 2 months later, that kind of stuff. It was really, really cool. Yeah, but no, there's virtually nothing can ever top that now. That was like, like if I would have got beamed up by the aliens to be probed on the way home with you, it would have all been good.
I say this with a great sense of relief. I'm so relieved to hear you say that, Jim, because I swing for the fences every time on Monday with you. And now that I've heard that, I can take it. Oof, I can go back in the bench, back in the dugout. But yeah, so to drive down and to witness it firsthand and to be there, as I said, you are nothing less of an endearing individual. And when you're in a crowd with all those people, It's fun to watch you work
Well,
the
well,
room.
the funniest thing was when we got there, I didn't know this was for me. I thought they were going to do a whole bunch of stuff and then say, "Oh yeah, we got a guy from Canada here. Here's a trophy. Here's a hamburger." See ya. I had no concept.
And that's, to me, that was the eye-opening part. And Jim, I didn't know what to expect. I had no idea what to expect.
You were the best looking guy there, though. Even better than me for that.
Yeah.
One night,
Dude, I look like security. Let's be honest. But
like you were in a mafia.
exactly, I was there to put a hit on somebody. No, at the end of the day, as I said, I was blown away. That they had that event at the hotel. Big announcements, big speeches. There was a lot of trips back down memory lane, which was really cool. But it was awesome to see all those folks who you have helped over the years be there on that occasion. And given the fact that it was the Classic, and our good buddy Jeff Gustafson was doing very well at the time, just made it all worthwhile. But it was really cool to be a part of Jim. And as I
So
said,
you remember when he came in late and he was all sunburned and everything? And then
and I
typical Canadian fast and apologizes for
and I still remember, Jim, and I'm sure you will as well. When he walked in that room, there was a sense of he's got this. I just saw it in his eyes.
Well, there was something there, you know what I mean? He definitely, because in fishing you never know.
Yeah.
But he was really, really cool. You could just see it. He was so cool. And then of course for me, having Kevin Van Dam walk in the room and look at me and walk up to me and put his arms out, like, don't start, I'm gonna start crying. But it's you know what I mean? It's
Dude,
just,
it was
the
incredible.
pictures you have of it, you have no concept how often I look at the photos. I scroll through them and I look at them. I just get a funny feeling in my belly every time.
Yeah, and it is. It's humbling to see it. And the one thing I will say about Mr. Van Dam is, I made a point. He was busy. He had a lot of people around him. You were talking, a lot of pictures being taken, this, that, and everything else. And I just said, you know what? I've come too far not to say hello to this man.
Oh, he's so approachable.
Oh, unbelievable. And the fact, this still amazes me to this day. The fact that they knew my name. Like, are you kidding me? Like, it really kind of blew me away. Still to this day, kind of blows me away.
You had that T-shirt on that said "I'm Scotty Martin."
Well, I do everywhere I go, and people still don't know who I am.
Well, you were sharp that night, dude.
But I'll tell you, it was. I will echo the same sentiments as Steve. It is personally an honor to know you, and we're so friggin' proud to call ourselves Canadian Anglers.
I might just have to take this to bed tonight.
Yeah, I don't have the picture uploaded, but it was one of the best pictures that was put together.
Well, when you took that and then you put the little thing with Gussie with the trophy in it, I've had so many people ask me, like, I said, well, I'm down at like Kyle Carruthers from CanCast went on and made a big post about it. I almost thought he was going to get the tanks were going to roll to the border. He said, wow, talk about a sweep for Canadians at the Bassmaster Classic. He says we brought back all the hardware available.
That's true. But it was a great time, great party. I know Moose at the Canadian House did a fantastic job hosting a lot of folks, even though
I wish if I was a few years earlier.
Oh yes, yeah,
that would have been a whole different deal there.
Yeah.
Did you see the picture Gussie posted with the blood running down his face with the trophy? He tried to. A lot of people may not know this. They've seen the picture. He tried to take the trophy through a revolving door.
I heard that. Yes, I did.
And he was drunk, so it must have. I don't know why he got drunk. He just won $300,000, but it's not even that. And I try to explain that to people. I've won 100, and it's the trophy. It's the whole thing about it. It's doing what you did. Regardless of how much money you have. And when I won, one of the times when I won that, I've told you, I was just about out of the fishing business. I was just about done broke. I had a family.
Yeah.
The dream was going to die. I've told you about the Visa card in the mail. Without that, it doesn't happen. We're not having this conversation.
Dude, it's such an incredible story. And that's why, as I said, it is so important. Great segue, Jim. there's no one person that's more important in all of this than all of you. Like everyone has a purpose here, and the fact that you and I have connected or reconnected, I would say, from the '90s when we first met, to do this now, to be a part of that unbelievable moment in your life. Yeah, this is all really, I don't know. It's so humbling, and it makes me speechless all the time. But it's true. Without you folks, and all of our presenters that come on here and do their thing, this wouldn't exist. So, as I said, that's why.
Well, like I've told you once, and I've told you before, I am in your debt for the rest of my life because of the way my mobility is. I would not have gone.
Yeah.
I was not ready to go through an airport in a wheelchair, and I just wasn't into hobbling through. And I have no doubt that if there was a fire behind me, I'd get out of the forest. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it's just one of those things. You just when you feel that it's not going to happen because of another reason. That's why I got a big hate on right now for the base of my spine.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to when the body doesn't work the way I want it. So, Jim, I empathize. I can't imagine what you go through.
My 70th circle of the earth is almost complete, and everything else is perfect.
Good.
I told you the other day when I was at the doctor, I spent 2 hours with the doctors, and I still get watched really closely because of the cancer study.
Mm-hmm.
They really keep an eye on me, especially with the diabetes, because I got that from the chemotherapy.
Yeah.
Like they told me within a week you're going to have diabetes, and go home. I check my sugar. It's 6.7 or something. I go to bed. I wake up. It's 28. I don't know where I didn't know where I was. I was like delirious.
Wow.
And I phoned the number, and the lady talked me through, and I had the needles and gave myself the insulin, and but I knew, like, they knew it was going to happen. I was about a half a day late.
Yes.
But I said to him too, I said, you remember though, when I got the chemotherapy, you were supposed to be at 8 in the morning, and it ended up not being until about 1. So I was really like a half a day behind. So that was probably it. Eh? So it's one of those things. Yeah, no, it's just you keep moving, buddy. Hey, remember I was talking to you just before we got off? It's so easy to be nice, and I do a lot of things. I don't. Sometimes I post about them if I think it's something nice. So the other day I'm coming back from the gym, and I go into the Hortons, and right down at the bottom of the highway here, and I'm sitting in the lineup, and I just edged ahead far enough from the order panel there, and I hear this kid, and he's whining, and I think it's a mom and a kid, and I'm looking back in the mirror, and the kid's up in the front beside her, and he's crying. I can see him in the window. I don't know whether the kid's hungry or just wants to just being a little bugger or what.
Yeah.
Anyways, he was bound and determined to have this breakfast special thing. And she said to him, she kept saying to him, we don't have the money for that. I don't have the money for that. Whatever, you've already sort of had breakfast or something. She said something about having had breakfast, because this was about 11:30. So it's coming up to lunch. So I hear all this. So eventually she gives in to him, and I hear her sigh. I mean, they're right there on the bend in the drive-thru. I could hear everything plain as day bouncing off the screen thing and the fence there. And she says so she orders it. And the woman says, I hear the lady says something else. He said there was a cold drink and something else. It was like, I think it was like $13.70 or something. Everything came to.
Yeah.
And I got up to the window, and I said to the lady, I said, look, I'm going to pay for the person behind me. Okay. And she looked at me and she went, oh, Big Jim, so nice of you. And I said, yeah, it's kind of cool. I think it might have been Christmas Eve. I'm not sure. So later that night, I get this I have the, I don't know if it's going to show up here. Yeah, you can't see it, but I'll read it. It says, I hope this is the right gentleman that paid for my Tim Hortons today. She must have got the name off the truck.
You would think.
You didn't just look in the mirror.
Can't get anything by you.
Look how handsome that guy is. No, he must be first in the phone book. No. And she says, if so, my grandson and I would like to say thank you. And it's just so cool. And I said to her, well, when she said it was you, and I said, yeah, that be me. I said, you're more than welcome. Every once in a while, I do things like this just because it feels good. And
Mhm.
she said, God bless you. Have a great New Year.
There you go. Yeah.
Little things like that. And like, I don't know, I made a post today and I wrote it at the end of it. I think it was just be nice.
And
It's
that's it.
it's too
You
easy to
know,
do. It's
Jim,
too
I
easy.
love that story. I absolutely love that story. But what I love is when you go to a Tim Hortons where this has happened before, and the girl at the checkout knows exactly what to do. Oh,
Yep.
okay, you're doing that. Like this happens quite frequently, and I'm pretty sure that depending on the Timmy's and location, I'm sure there's a lot of this generosity going around. In fact, I think out in Alberta, it's or even Saskatchewan, it's kind of like a thing now where you're always paying for the guy behind you.
Well,
But
that's really cool.
that is, I just find that so awesome.
Well, I had one a couple of years ago, and there was a cop, and he was right outside the Tim Hortons in Gan, and he was standing at the side of this car, and he was obviously involved pretty intensely to the point where he took his hat off and pushed his hair back,
Yeah,
with the hat back on, and you could tell there was something going on. And all of a sudden, it's early in the morning, and all of a sudden, I'm in the drive-through, and the cop's behind me. He's an OPP, and he stopped on the main street again. Gananoque has police, so whatever it was something there for him to stop a car in the city like that or in the town. And I look up in the mirror, and he just looked like you could just see it. He was frustrated, and he was talking. I could tell him he was talking. He's probably discussing whatever had happened or whatever, right? And I said to the lady, "I'll pay for the police officer behind me." And she said, "Oh, okay," and whatever, and paid for it and whatever. So about a month later, I was out with Tammy. We went down, we picked up prescriptions, got gas. And she said, "I want an ice cream cone." And I said, "Well, we'll go to the place in town, the little ice cream place." She said, "No, I want a McDonald's thing, the whippy one there." And she said, "It's $1 cone week or something." I said, "Bonus." So we pull in, we get the cone, I'm pulling out, and as I'm pulling out, this OPP car is behind me. And it doesn't mean anything to me. It's been a month, eh? And the lights flash. And I thought, oh, fuck, what do they do?
Mhm.
So I stop and whatever, and the guy comes around and he pats me on the shoulder. He says, "Thanks for breakfast there a couple of weeks back."
Wow.
He said, probably comes in there to that Hortons or to get gas off the 401 all the time.
I've never known a police officer to have a bad memory.
Yeah. Oh,
I've never known them to have a bad memory.
they always remembered me.
Yes, yes. They always seem to remember the speed limit and the fact I'm not
Yeah.
wearing my seatbelt. And yeah, they're very good at remembering things. Jim, on that note, obviously that's a great story. Unfortunately, we still have to send out the message about being safe on the ice. There was another report
Did
today
you
that
see the
you
thing I
shared.
sent you earlier there?
Yeah, so I saw it on the news. 60-year-old man went through the ice, and at the end of the day, I don't know where you are located in this country, but if you've got safe ice, God bless you. But if you're not sure, I'm with you because I can't imagine, given where we live, Jim, there's any safe ice or there's any ice that would look like it's safe enough to walk on.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem. You get, around here, there's all these little lakes like north of me, all along the Rideau chain and right over to Belleville. I mean, you know what it's like when you drive through up there on Highway 7. It's just a sea of lakes. And there's guys up there on 5 inches, 6 inches of ice. So I told you they had a skating rink behind my house last week.
Yeah.
I think it was just before Christmas. And now I went down here this morning
Mhm.
and I edged the truck in at the boat launch, and before it broke through I was on the ice before it broke at the front. And that's the engine. That's the weight up front. The ice was this thick
Wow,
and it was almost melted out again. So, I know I could ice fish behind the house if I wanted.
that's good. Good. I'm glad we're
I don't
getting
want
safe.
to.
No, I hear you, but I'm glad we're starting to see safe ice being created because I was
But I
beginning
see
to get
these
concerned.
people and they're out there and they're bragging about, they're holding their hand and, looks 2 inches. It's good. Are you nuts? Are you nuts? You could be one of the people on the news tomorrow. I mean, look at the 2 young lads that drowned skating here.
Yeah.
Like, that's a crying shame. And I know one of those kids up there. It was, I think his name was Riley, and I had met him at a bait shop up there. I inquired to the guy who owns the bait shop to find out to see it. He says, "Yeah, you met him. You sat on the tailgate of the truck and talked to him." about fishing. I was there one day dropping off some stuff or doing something, whatever. And it's just really sad, like it doesn't have to be.
No.
And for the sake of a damn fish.
Yeah.
Like
It says a lot for you to say that too. At the end of the day, it is just fishing.
And I love catching fish as much as anybody out there.
Yep.
But jeez.
I know. It's
give it a
tough.
little time. It'll freeze. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. It's going to freeze. Yeah.
Now, in your opinion, Jim, based on your years of experience, when weather patterns seem to go like this, do you see a late thaw, or do you see an early thaw, or?
Hey, I got no idea. I saw Environment Canada called this today the El Nino mega weather anomaly. I was happy to hear it. This got nothing to do with global warming. Global warming is not what it is. And I noticed one day in Ottawa last week, or maybe about 2 weeks ago, they broke the record for the temperature on that date for the highest temperature ever, and it was like, don't quote me, I forget. It was like 11.4.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "Wow, that's a temperature record that stood for over 100 years." So I went and got the old record, and the old record was 11.1. So why did nobody care about it 100 years ago when it was that warm on the same day? And this is it, eh? If they didn't have it in the news and carbon tax and blasted in our face all the time, I think it's just, how do we know what, everybody talks about weather cycles. How do we know what a weather cycle is? Like I had someone tell me, oh, it's 400 years. That's what it is. They know that. Well, no, they don't. Maybe the weather cycle is 20,000 years, and we don't, we've only been keeping weather records for 125 years or something.
Yeah.
Like since the late 1800s, I think it was 130 years or something. So how do we know this hasn't happened 1,000 times?
It's true.
I don't know.
I'm happy to hear that there are places that have safe ice. Walter has told us that right now they've got 12 to 16 inches of ice. By February, we should have 24 to 30. Great. I'm so great to hear that. And of course,
that's standard for there, Walter.
I would say a little behind. They usually probably have 24 by now, but I might be wrong. But we'll wait till. And then, of course, in Manitoba in the dead of February, safe to say ice anywhere is safe. You could park a herd of elephants. Yeah, I would say, not that I would try that or say challenge accepted, but I can imagine that I've been in Manitoba in the dead of winter, and it's not fun. If you unless you want to be frozen, it's not fun. So with that, obviously, what are some of the things that you're looking forward to in 2024, Jim?
We got shows coming up. Yeah, I was just we're going to do the kids pond again, obviously, and I've already mentioned that to you. Whatever. That's always a hoot.
Yeah.
What do you say? Will be no safe ice south of high. It's already there, Ed. There's guys fishing lots of the lakes above Belleville. They run them today.
Really?
Yep.
Unbelievable.
4 to 5 inches of ice. Because it's been -8 and 10, eh? You don't realize there's about a 4-degree difference right now, 3-4 degree difference daily between here and Kingston, and I'm 40 minutes tops from Kingston, from the lake. And when I go north to Ottawa, there's 4 degrees, 5 degrees difference. So you don't have to go that far north, It's it really changes. It really changes. Like they said,
did you see Walter's response? He said, "Yeah, a little late, but it's pretty standard."
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah, but they mentioned on the news tonight that Ottawa's bang on for about half the snow it usually gets in December. That it got in December.
Really?
Yeah, it's half. Mind you, it melted every time it came.
Yeah, I was going to say
they get like 10 centimeters of snow, and the next day to go up to 7 and it rained.
You actually got that much? You got that much snow?
Not here, Ottawa.
Okay. Yeah. Wow.
75, 80 minutes away, eh?
It's amazing how much.
That's all it takes for the difference. I haven't brought the shovel's still in the garage here for the front porch. I haven't used it. This time last year, there was 96 centimeters of snow on the ground here. Wow. We got that big storm on Christmas Day when we got 55 centimeters.
Yep.
That's when I got halfway to Gananoque to pick up a prescription for Tammy, and I turned around and came back. because I just
you had that lake effect snow event too.
This was not coming from there. This was coming from the east.
Oh, well, also it was the actual storm. Okay, wow.
Yeah.
Well, it was a heck of a dumping. I do remember spending my Christmas clearing out driveways. So I do remember that, and I do remember
it wasn't so much that one. 10 days before, we had almost the same, and it was just in a little patch that was huge lake effect. I mean, there was people. I drove from here. We had snow here that I had to get the guy to come plow. There's no way you're going to shovel it, and I went to my daughter's house, and there was like 3 inches of snow. And that's like 45 minutes. And then we drove down to go into Brockville. Tammy wanted to grab some stuff in Walmart or something. And there was no snow in Brockville. So it was less as you came south. And then you went a little bit further east toward Prescott. And the guy showed me a picture, 18 inches of snow on his porch. And not 18 inches because it blew off the roof, one of those deals, It was the same everywhere.
Wow.
Showed his laneway was half shoveled and the snow was like this deep,
You talk about an anomaly.
Incredible. And then 2 weeks after, it was all gone. Yeah. The first week of January, it was all gone. It melted.
Yeah, I do. I remember that because I remember watching some of the live broadcasts that were coming out of Buffalo. The amount
that was all a lake effect.
8 feet of snow. I don't know how.
Down here in Watertown.
Yeah.
At the end of Lake Ontario, it's the same thing. But I mean, I saw a thing the other day about Lake Erie was still sitting at 44 degrees.
That's what Ed just say. Erie was at 44 last week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, still +2 up where he is. -4 out where Mike Howard is, and up down by the Niagara region. It's warm. It sure is.
It's always warm.
Yeah, it's beautiful out this way. It's actually been incredible.
It got to 0 here today, but we're looking this weekend coming up here. I think it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The evening lows are like 10 to 12.
Yeah,
and they're like or minus 10 to 12, and it's like minus 16, 18 in Ottawa. So a few days of that, and it'll tighten it all up, and everybody will be happy. You won't be driving on it. I don't even know if there's enough time this winter to drive on it now. It's hard to say.
That's what I was going to ask you. Like, based on where we are on the calendar,
I mean, if it gets cold,
it
doesn't take long to put a foot of ice on when it's minus 25.
Yes,
it does not take long, but it's
minus 25. I don't know.
Too many people drowned this year.
Yes, yeah, 100%.
And the thing is that they didn't have to.
Yeah,
like it almost makes fishermen look like a bunch of idiots. I've had a few people that don't fish at all comment to me like, "The hell's wrong with you guys?" Like really negative feeling. One guy went on a post that was on Facebook there and said, "I don't fish, so I don't get it. Forgive me for that. All I know is you endangered my uncle because he was one of the firefighters that went out got the body." Like things like that. People, of course, everybody's got a short fuse.
100%. Yeah, everybody. Yeah.
Still, somebody's dead.
Yes.
And your uncle did his job and got cold and was happy to do his job.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. So there's a big difference, there's a huge difference there.
Yeah, you're not going to reason with those people. No. Just let them say.
Just like the guy here the accident at the lake here at South Lake there, where the old lady went in the rhubarb, and I put the picture up in that.
Yeah.
The guy comes over and he's, I says, "Well, you're a little bit late. She could be going to the hospital. She could be dead. Who knows?" And the guy just goes like this and goes back to his car. Like when I was 25, I'd opened the door on him, or pulled him in the window and put the window up. Done that a few times. That works.
Jeez, we have. Unfortunately, this is going to have to be a PG segment now. We've eradicated our family prowess, but we'll get back on track. Jim, as I mentioned, 2023, the highlight of your life, your career, it's going to be hard to replicate that. But what are some of the things that you're looking forward to in 2024?
I don't know, maybe catch a 12-inch bluegill.
Oh, I had to laugh. That Babe Winkleman book, I have that book. I have that somewhere.
The big roll walleye. I had a guy send me a note, said, "Wish you'd stop calling pickerel walleye. I said it's a Canadian thing. Get over it.
Yeah, it is. It so is.
You know something that I want to do, and I did a bit of this year. A couple of times I was out in boats and things, and I didn't do it when I was out with you, but I did it a lot out the back here and other places I shore fished. And that was fishing with bigger baits, Scotty.
Oh, okay.
Fishing with stuff like this, like just like standard, like that's the Arma boost and not the Arma joint with all the joints in it, the way it is and everything, the way it moves around, and you can see it's got the flash boost in it.
Yeah. Now, Jim, it's interesting that because we do, I would say a lot of our advice always tells the anglers to downsize. Obviously,
you go down to this first cast I took with this out the back ever. It's the little Blast Bone Junior. First cast I ever took, I got a 4.5 pounder, and I got a picture to prove it. No, but it's
So you think this will be the year of the big baits? Because I see it like every year we transition. Like one year it might be the fluff, another year it's about downsizing. Is this the year where it's go big or go home?
Yeah, it's I love catching fish, but I also like catching big ones. And if I had to, I would, like a guy said to me one day, he asked a question at the show, it was a couple of years ago, and Ron James was there at the Sportsman Show, and he was the MC, and we're finished up, and he's asking questions. And Ron says, we got a couple more minutes. Anybody else got a question or whatever? And this guy, he said, hey, Big Jim, when you're out there, he said, would you rather catch like a couple of big bass or a bunch of just regular ones when you're out there? Like, And I said, well, I was always trained because of tournaments to get numbers. And then I managed to transition to the point where I could find numbers of big fish because they're different than small fish, what they do. And when you identify that and learn how to do it, you can catch big fish consistently. And I said, but if I had to pick, I'd rather catch huge numbers of big fish. You know what I mean? It's what it is because that's what we go fishing for. That's what everybody likes to do. But there's definitely something about these big baits, and the fish do average bigger. And what shocks me about it is the number of people I see throwing them. Isabel, a lady bass, Shimano girl. The number of 3-pound fish she shows on 8-inch baits, not 9-inch baits. Average fish eat big things. You don't realize what a largemouth. I mean, how many people have posted a picture of a 3-pound bass's throat with a tail that looks like it's from a 1-pound bass sticking out of it, or a bullhead, or something, a big koi fish with 2 big claws sticking out where it's been sucked in. They still haven't swallowed what they caught last, and they're trying to eat something that's bigger than what they just ate, and looks like it fills them up. So I think a lot of times it's not it's not a feeding thing. It's just something's there and they have to go get it. It's what it is. It's just a reflex.
100%.
You got to have a look at that.
I definitely will. Yeah, absolutely. The 8-inch walleye cranks, Ed made a career of those. So yes, he certainly knows a thing or two. Steve also knows about the glide baits. Those, is it a bait that has morphed from a jerk bait into a glide bait, or some people call them a spy bait?
That's a different thing now. That's a little thing, the props. I remember when they first got started, and I posted a picture, and a guy told me, he says, where can I get those? And I told him, Gagnon's has them. It was the eye prop, the Jackal eye prop. And I get a note from him 2 or 3 days later about the quality of them, that they're terrible. And I said, what happened? And he says to me, well, none of them float. And I said, well, they're not topwaters. I thought you read up about it, And I talk to this guy all the time now, and every once in a while he'll joke about it, and because he actually got a little aggressive about me telling him about that they were garbage and everything else. And I shouldn't have been recommending it. And I said, well, they're not a topwater. Well, they got props on them. Yeah, well, I thought you read up on them. That's why you wanted to do it.
I know that boy's pain, unfortunately, because I do recall a similar situation about the Tokyo rig that I will take.
I just got some new ones.
Yeah. Richard Dunlop is looking forward to one of which I am as well, Horwood Lake Lodge, annual CFN retreat, but he's heading to Almer Lake Lodge, which a lot of folks, if you don't know, is a trophy lake trout lake, but it's a trophy lake, period. Arctic char, there's a bunch of species in there, and grayling, I believe, you can catch from the camp. So yeah, I totally understand why that is a favorite of you. And Bob, this year try to introduce new people and kids how to fish.
Nice.
Good on you, Bob. That's awesome, buddy. I appreciate that. Sounds like Corey had a near miss today. Almost got run over by another bike. Mike, his goal is to grow and have more kids interested in fishing. Yeah, music to both.
I could talk with Mike about that. He had mentioned something to me, I think.
Yeah, it's
if you ever contact me and I don't get back to you, anybody, remind me, because sometimes in messages and things, it gets to the point where it's like you got to scroll 60 times to get back to something that happened a week ago. Like I get up this morning and I said to Tammy, look at my phone, and I'm scrolling like this of the Happy New Year messages, and I'm going like this, and she says, okay, I get the idea. I said, no, I'm going back to the top. I went to the bottom, to the last one last night, and I must have done this like 25 times. And it's just there's like 400 or 500 of them. So messages can get away.
yeah, it is. It's it truly. I admire someone that has the time and takes the time, because social media can be a very selfish endeavor. But those who do engage, like you, Jim, on a regular. Some of our CFN group, our legacy members, are phenomenal at it as well. But just taking the time to post a comment or share in somebody's triumph or victory, it means a lot. And you know what? To your point, you just said earlier, like let's make 2024 the year of being nice.
Well, I see a guy post a picture and he catches a 2-pound pike and he's all excited. I go on and tell him, nice fish, buddy. And they'll text back to you later and go, are you the big Jim from the Sportsman Show? Like I get a lot of that, eh?
I bet you do.
Well, the best is, and I'll be in Gananoque or Kingston or something in the summertime, and somebody will wave to you and say something to you. Obviously, the truck is the thing that attracts them originally, but they'll say something like that, and they'll say, you over here? Are you fishing over here or what? And I say, no, I live here. Like they look at you, That's always fun too.
That is funny. That's awesome. Jim, as always, dude, it's been an hour. I'm so happy to have you for 5 minutes, never mind 55 minutes. But needless to say, you have been such a huge part of this community in 2023, years before that. And of course, we're so honored to have you going forward in 2024, hoping to see lots more of you. You're going to be at the boat show. You're going to be at the spring.
Not at the boat show.
Oh, you're not at the boat show. Okay, so you're going to be at the spring fishing and boat show. Are you going to be at the Sportsman Show?
Yeah, I'm doing seminars at the Sportsman Show Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Okay, and then you've
3
got
4 days. So I get there Thursday morning. I come over Thursday morning, and then I only have the hotel for 2 nights because it lets me put in three nights, and I really enjoy it. I really, really enjoy it. I don't get up on the tank anymore because God forbid I fall off, but because you never know what's happening. That's like,
I hear you. Well, as always,
I could just see it. I'd be like Homer Simpson falling out of the tree. Don't. And I'd finish up on the tank with my back broken backwards.
Okay, don't say.
Or else I'd land in it, and the headline would be 63 die from tsunami at the Sportsman Show. God.
Speaking of which, for those folks who are out on the West Coast, Japan had a horrible earthquake.
I saw that.
And the tsunami that followed. So I hope nothing on our West Coast is going to be affected. But
no, it's on the inside.
Yeah, it was on the inside. You're right.
In Japan and the mainland, they showed some waves. They said that were 3 meters. Because Canadian guys were saying 3 feet, and I thought, why would they give a warning for a 3-foot wave? The wind can do that in 10 minutes. But they said 3 meters, and they showed it in a few spots coming up. It was pretty wild, but not like one of those things where it rolls up, a mile into the town and brings cars and houses.
What is it about New Year's? Because if I'm not mistaken, we've had some pretty big tsunamis come ashore right around New Year's. It seems to be a more popular time of year to see that. But again, what a way to ring in the new year.
The Earth's a little bit restless right now, eh? You see those volcanoes in Iceland there? That was pretty spectacular. There was several in not Afghanistan, but over there somewhere in the Middle East. There was a few countries that had small earthquakes, but the one they showed from Japan there, that was yikes.
It was. It really was.
And it's, to see the stuff all rocking in the room, I'd be puking. It's just like yikes.
Yeah, yikes indeed. Absolutely. Well, Jim, as I said, stay healthy, stay safe, and we look forward to spending next Monday and a whole bunch of other Mondays with you, starting again next week with Lawrence and Jay, who couldn't make it today. But on behalf of all of us here at CFN, buddy.
And Just Fishing will be done Wednesday morning, because tomorrow's Monday, today's Monday.
Fantastic.
Tuesday morning or Wednesday morning, it'll be done. We just wait for some ads. Everything else is done. It's completely finished. There's 3 ads coming, and Tammy just needs to go click and put it in the space.
Good.
Send it to Richie and upload her.
Right on, buddy.
Everybody be safe out there.
On that note, Dave, it's time. Take us away. You guys have yourselves a great week. Love you all. Look forward to seeing you throughout the week. There's going to be a lot of posts, a lot of content being shared. A big shout out to what Walter and Steve have been doing all year with our edits. Of course, if you want an edit done, please put it in the inbox at CFN. Just go to the message button, press message, and it's easy it's pretty straightforward from there. But on behalf of all of our community, I hope everybody had a great 2023. We look forward to you guys having a great 2024, and we hope to be a part of it, because we live vicariously through a lot of you folks. All the best, Jim. You take care, my friend.
Be good, kiddies.
Peace.
Well, as much as I hate to admit it, I guess we've run out of time. So I've enjoyed it, but I'm going to do something I haven't done since season 1. Turn out the lights, the party's over. They say that all good things must end.